What's up, guys? Back again with another video. I am currently installing long tubes, and yes, this is one of those jobs where you're just gonna hate life. All right, real quick, I started off yesterday removing the strut tower. I didn't drain no coolant. I didn't mess with any of the lines here, all this crap that gets in the way. I just took off my intakes, the strut bar, and I started working at it. After doing this with some of the tools that I have, I would really highly recommend you get something like this to start off. You could use a half drive ratchet with a flex head, but I got this 3/8 today. I wish I had this yesterday, but I didn't. So I got it today. So when I reinstall the nuts and stuff to hold the headers up. But yeah, preferably get yourself a long 3/8 ratchet, no homo. You're gonna need, I broke one of these already, not a Harbor Freight one, just one that I have, actually a Craftsman at that. Get yourself a little 1/4" ratchet. You're gonna need this for the tight spaces. What else, man? I mean, as you guys can tell, like, I have used all of this, different extensions, different flex ratchets. I had to take that one up because it kept moving too much. I even had to use a freaking pry bar to kind of move some of these little lines just just give me some room to get my hand in there. What else I have to use? Oh yeah, a 10 mil, man, I freaking forgot what this is called, all the freaking tools I have. But preferably get one that ratchets, you know. A 10 millimeter, 14 millimeter, sorry. But anyway, so what I started yesterday was, after I got the intake out, strut tower out, I started working on these bolts. No, I didn't even use like any PPE blaster. I just started taking them out. They're not that tight. It's just a space that you have to work with. So basically here, all I did was disconnect this thing from here, just to be able to flex it out of the way when I need to. Also got rid of this little ground that goes from here to the manifold. So I just moved it to the side. But these aren't too bad to get. And I just used a half drive with no flex head. This is why it kind of was frustrating yesterday when I took these off. The half drive ratchet with the 14 mil deep. It could be the impact or even just a regular one. I also used the 3/8 ratchet. Where's that one at? I even used the 3/8 ratchet, no flex head, which made it even harder. So if you don't have a flex head ratchet, you can just get like these little angle extension thingies. You know, I mean, you're gonna really need but if you want to just make this stuff easier for yourself, get yourself a ratchet with a flex head. You know, that way you can get in there at a good angle. They always like that. But so I took this side off. As you guys can tell, and the 3 of the studs came out with the nuts, which that happens. It's almost impossible to do without one of them coming out. Even though these did not come out, these 3, I'm still gonna torque them to spec, and you use an E8 socket. An E8 socket, I'm still gonna torque these down, and the other 3 that I have, because these did get loose as I was taking out the nuts. They did get loose, and then the nuts just came off by themselves. So I'm gonna have to retorque those. So let me show you guys kind of when the whole thing comes out. So the stud comes out. You're gonna need a E8 star socket. Torx E8. I just went to Harbor Freight and I got me this little kit right here. And obviously, basically, you're just gonna, put that in there, and then you're gonna grab your 14 mil and put the 14 mil here. You can just focus. And at the same time, with both hands, just twist the opposite ways to get these off. And I sprayed these with PPE blaster because these were really tight. And the last thing you want to do is strip them. So yeah, E8 socket, a 14 mil, take those apart. And you'll do that for both sides. Obviously, when you take out, if you take out some studs on that side too. So pretty much passenger side, not too bad. I took out the whole manifold with the test pipe. I'll show you guys real quick. Test pipe with the manifold. The heat shields, man, those things are a pain in the ass. That little 10 mil God, I can't believe I forgot the little wrench. I can't believe I forgot what the hell these things are called. Yeah, so just a little 10 mil for tight spaces. Just ratchet that thing out, or you could use a little 1/4 inch ratchet with a little 10 mil short stubby, and then yeah. So I took out the whole manifold with the whole test pipe. The passenger side isn't too crazy, just patience and some beers. Not strong beer though, because the last thing you want to do is be impaired doing this. I probably had like 8 of them last night when I started doing this. Passenger side, not too bad. All right, driver side. So this is where it gets crazy. Okay, how much crap did I take out here? Let me see. I loosened this up. I took it off the 10 mil right there, and anytime you take out a bolt, make sure you put them back. Like put the bolts back, that way you don't lose them. Where's that piece that goes here? Where's it at? I lost it. Where the hell did that thing go? Oh, here we go. So these ground wires, these go here. I removed it, you know, and this obviously goes here. I removed here and here. I took it off. I just moved it down to the side because this thing gets in the way, and you want as much room as possible when you're doing this. I took this off here, a little 10 mil. Took it off just to be able to flex it when I want to get my hand through here. What else did I disconnect? I believe that was pretty much it for here. And man, what freaking pain. So basically what I used here was this breaker bar with the socket with that 14 mil, this one right here, that one. And sometimes I even use just a regular 14 deep, like one of these right here. I did that just to get the leverage and just to be able to get the socket in there and just break it loose. Once you break it loose, it's just a matter of just, you know, keep turn after turn to turn. You think it gets like easier? No, it doesn't get easy to all the way to the very end. That's what sucks. But I had to use that breaker bar just because it's so tight here. You can't just fit your hand in there with the ratchet and just start going at it, you know. So that's why I mentioned get the smallest like ratchet that you can, which would be like a 3/8, and the longest one too, no homo. So that way you're able to you know, so that way you have the leverage just to break those loose. And then once you break it loose, you can use like a regular little 3/8 or even just that same one over there, and you know, just start ratcheting away. You know, it's freaking tedious, man. And especially if you're taking off the head stud, man, you're just be going there a long way. Sorry for that damn hand gesture. It's been a long 2 days doing this, and I'm not even done yet, as you guys can tell. So yeah, I mean, here it's no like, there's no special trick here. It's just different ratchets, different, you know, angles. You know, just be patient. It's doable. I obviously got them off. Here's the only issue: after you get all these off, there's going to be one, and I was warned about this one that's hard to get. And let me see if I can show you guys. Let me get a little. Where's my magnet so I can point? All right. Try to point it out with this thing. Let's get down here. Sorry guys, I tried to, you know, record as I was doing this, man, but I knew I was gonna run into so much crap, and I would have to brainstorm and think about how I was gonna do this. And yeah, so I'm just doing it like this. All right, so we're on the driver's side. This is the one that let me extend this right here. All right, this one, this bolt that goes right here, that one is gonna be a pain in the ass to take out. You can't get it from up top, and you could barely even get it from right here when the exhaust manifold is on. So what I did was just, let me see, which ratchet did I use? I believe I used, yes, I used a 3/8 ratchet with a extension that flexes, and obviously I put the 14 mil deep in there, and I used the breaker bar. Well, not really. I used my freaking jack pipe thingy. So I had, because you kind of have to go at it at an angle because the manifold's in the way. So you're gonna come in. Obviously, you're gonna disconnect the steering column, right? Just make sure you mark it like I did. You see white and like white. Just mark it so that way when you put it back on, you know, your steering wheel is straight. Yeah, so once you take this off, it's just a 12mm nut. Just loosen it and you just lift up and move to the side. So anyways, so once the manifold is here, you're going to come in through here on this side with the ratchet and with your extension and like a little angle extension adapter thingy. Get the socket in there and you're going to get a pipe or anything. Just put it in the ratchet and just enough to break it, just to break it loose. Once you break it loose, if you're able to keep turning it and turning it and turning it, cool. Literally, I had to like just one click at a time just to loosen it because you don't have much room here. So I was just working at it little by little by little by little, enough to where I felt that it was loose enough where I could possibly fit. And I'll show you guys my little impact ratchet. The key is just breaking that bolt loose, that little nut. Once you break it loose and you start loosening it a little bit more, I loosened it just enough to where I was able to use it. Cool. All right, so to get that last nut, I used impact ratchet, extension, 14 deep, and just as soon as, like I mentioned, once you loosen them up, the nut enough, I was able to get this in there and just turn it out all the way. Now, I don't recommend using power tools to get like bolts out, like from, especially when the head stud possibly is coming out, because the last thing you want to do is strip the threads in there. But man, there was no other way, or you would have been there forever. Just, and my hands were already freaking hurting. Would have been there forever trying to get that stuff out, that freaking nut out. So I use this to finish it off and get it out. And then, yeah, I mean, what a pain. But I do this again? Nah. But, you know, I want to do the full NA setup to have fun and then turbo later, so I got to do it. But yeah, so that's the passenger side. Simple. Just get yourself the right tools from the beginning. I thought I would be able to do it with what I had, but man, the angles that these nuts and these bolts are at, man, you have to get certain tools for this job. I mean, and I have like a toolbox over there, and I thought I had enough, but nope, apparently not. Yeah, then the freaking driver's side, man, what a pain. The driver's side is something else. You know what? I'm gonna try really hard. What did I just break? Okay, I'm gonna try really hard to get these headers on by the end of tonight, so that way I can put up another video and show you guys. But also do another video when I put them back on. But yeah, passenger side, driver's side, disconnect the shift or the steering column. Be patient with those bolts, man. And like I said on the last one, the very back, just break it loose and just keep turning little by little by little enough to where you're able just to, where it's loose enough to where you can possibly get an impact ratchet. Or man, just stay there and keep turning it little by little. It'll come out eventually. So yeah, so I got that off. After that, like I mentioned, some of these studs are gonna come out. So 1/4 inch E8, 14. I believe it's a wrench. I freaking forgot what this is called. Yeah, it's a wrench. And yeah, break that loose. Out to the headers. And you know what? And just real quick, these are, I put in an order for HR headers and they send me DE headers. The main difference is the runners, 1.75 inches for DE, 1.875 for HR. So not that much of a difference. The DEs lose a lot of torque when they use the HR ones, so they made the DE 1.75, so it kept that torque. I don't believe the HR will be affected by the DEs. I mean, this is still, I measured the ports here, they're still bigger than the stock ones. I measured the collector end, still bigger than the stock ones, so I'm still gonna see gains from it. And each piping, man, the individual pipes all smooth, unlike the OEM manifolds. Those things are garbage. You know what, let me just show you guys that real quick. You know, if you guys plan on doing this, man, I really hope you guys have all the right tools that you guys need before, because this thing, man, is frustrating. Look at that. Ugh, what is that? Oh, I'm probably not gonna get it good. Let me see what I'm trying to do here. What am I trying to do? What am I doing? Oh no, you scraped it. You scraped your brand new header. Oh damn, I'm over here pinching the freaking. That's fine. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all this crap right here. And look at this. Each runner to a parallel merge collector. Let's see if I can get a video of that real quick. Pretty. Crazy. Alright, let me turn it. I don't want to mess up the O2 sensor. Alright, now. Yeah, so now for the O2 sensors. Because you got to extend one. So you just got to make sure that you put the sensors 1, which will be these with the gray wrap. You got to make sure you put those ahead of sensor 2. So you see how here's the one that comes with a manifold, the OEM one. It goes on the closest hole to the head, which is this one. And then sensor number 2, which is the one that's under the car in the back by the tranny, right here where the little bung thing's at. And you could tell sensor 2 is white and 1 is the gray. And it's when you get these headers or any long tube header, they should come with an extension. So you can also buy extensions already with the connectors. You just plug and play. But this came with the extensions. You gotta cut the wires, you know, expose wire out. It already came with these. I bought this because I didn't think it was gonna come with this stuff, so I just bought, excuse me, my own set. But it'll come with 16 of these little things right here, just so you can crimp the wires together, and then yeah. That alone took me like freaking 30 minutes per O2. Tedious, man. You gotta, yeah, cut, extend, tape up, make sure everything's good. So yeah, that's all done. Now I'm just going to try to install them. Yeah, so I'm gonna get that started now, and then I will be back and let you guys know kind of how it went. Peace.
Just a quick note on these exhaust head studs. If they're not this easy to turn and put on, then you're probably putting them in the wrong way and you're forcing the threads through, and you're gonna have a problem. So if they're not going on this easy, stop, pull them back out, and make sure you have them going in the right way. I saw the video of this other dude putting it in his 370, and he kind of, I guess, put it at an angle. And I mean, if you're doing that, you should be able to feel how hard it is. So it should not be hard at all. 11 foot-pounds, by the way, for these head studs.
All right, it's now the next day. Passenger side is on. You're gonna need help to put this thing on there without the gasket wanting to come down and trying to put the header in. So I had my wife helping me last night, but yeah, passenger side not too bad. Just some of these nuts, man, you're gonna have to use like you got to use wrenches, and even some that don't ratchet, because it'll make life easier. Because the ratcheting kind, where's the 14 that I just had? This was gonna be hard about this job. The ratcheting one makes everything so much easier. However, you guys see how fat it is right here? Well, sometimes you can't get to all the nuts because you're gonna rub the header. So you're gonna have to use the regular one. So you gotta go turn and turn at a time. But for the most part, you're able to get those with the flex head, like this one. But yeah, so passenger side on, not too bad. Now this mofo over here, man, you guys can tell I beat it up a little bit. Just the paint, really. They're ceramic coated in and out, so. But yeah, man, my wife and I fought this one last night. I finally said, you know what? Nah. Went to bed at midnight and then said, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try it again. So let's go down here. Let me show you guys what I did. All right, so I kept raising the car up. I pretty much have it up to the point where I could even remove the tranny. That's how high I had to get it up. So even though you disconnect the steering column, you're still not gonna be able to get it, because where's it? Let me see.
this runner right here, focus, this runner is gonna be hitting the steering column. And then when you try to go more to the right, you're gonna be hitting the transmission, as you can tell right here. You're gonna be hitting this plate, as you can tell, I've been scratching it all up right here. And even you're gonna be hitting the far, you're gonna be hitting this stud right here. You're gonna be hitting that one right there. So it's gonna make it freaking just difficult to even get in there. So what I did, I loosened the motor mounts. I believe those were 17 mil. I loosened both motor mounts. I got a big old freaking, where's it at? A piece of wood that I used to, where'd it go? All right there. I got that block. I put it on the jack, and I put it evenly across the oil pad. Yeah, you never lift up an engine to the oil pad, but you'd be stupid if you did it with just a jack. So I just used that big old block, even surface, raised it up just enough to where the stud, that stud right there, where I wasn't hitting it when I tried to get the long tube in there, and I was able just to clear the steering column, and I was finally able just to wiggle it in there. And man, like I literally laid down here for like 5 minutes just thanking the car gods that I was able to finally get this freaking header in there. And yeah, get somebody to help you, because it's gonna be a pain in the ass. Yeah. So there's the passenger side. Driver's side's in. Now, let me see what else I can tell you guys before I stop this video. So for the driver's side, on all these bolts, you're able to get about 4 of them with the flex head and a 14 mil. And then the other 2, you gotta use this. And I'm talking about like a turn, like at a time. Like for this one, for that one right there, and the one in the very back that I showed you guys, I use just this, a turn at a time, you know. But driver side's on, passenger side's on. Now I know why they say, man, this is one of those jobs where you either gotta pull the engine out and then put them on, or completely get rid of, or just remove this hard line. I did it the hard way, and I didn't remove nothing. I just loosened up some stuff, moved some things out of the way, but kept the majority of stuff in there. And well, yeah, I mean, they're on now. Would I do this again? Nah. No, I wouldn't. I would just pull the engine out next time and do it. When I go to remove these, I'm probably gonna pull the engine out whenever I go turbo. But yeah, they're on there. Remember, flex head, 1/4 inch ratchets, 1/4 inch sockets, 14 deep, 3/8 14 deep. Get yourself some wrenches and just be patient. Get yourself some beers. And yeah, PPE long tubes. What's up, guys? It's several days after the header install, so I ran into an issue that I was trying to find for like 3 days straight. After the header install, I took the car out for a drive. It was fine, like a little minute drive down the neighborhood. Came back home, it was fine. Tried to take it out later on again, and it just died on me like a minute away from the house. And pushed it back home, cranked and cranked and cranked, couldn't figure it out. Tried different things, checked my fuse box, I checked fuel pressure, I checked the pump, I checked, man, like every connection. I went through hell trying to figure out what the fuck was wrong with this. Sorry for cussing. I went through hell trying to figure out what was wrong with this car. And it ended up being that, so when you guys put these headers in, if you guys do headers, make sure no harness is touching the headers or anywhere near it. My dumb self, you guys probably won't be able to see it from right here, but I'll try to zoom in on it. You can kind of see right there where the zip tie's at. So that harness right there that you could tell is kind of patched up and redone and taped up to the main harness, that's your the harness that goes to the crankshaft position sensor. And that one was rubbing. You could probably see it on the header also. You probably can't see the dried up plastic that it melted, but
basically that harness was touching the header and it melted the red wire. There's 3 wires in there. I believe it's a yellow one, a red one, and a green one. It melted the red wire, like it melted through this plastic that protects the wire. It melted through that. It melted through a different part, and then it finally got to the red wire, and it shorted it. So after I finally found that, I had to remove the passenger header. Yeah, what a pain, huh? After finally getting them on, I had to remove the passenger header, and I went in there. I cut open the wires to expose them all, and luckily it was just melted plastic over the red wire. So I just cleaned up the wire. I took off all the melted plastic that was causing it to short and not crank. And yeah, I mean, that was it. Like 3 days trying to figure out what was wrong with it. Like it gave me a code for pedal acceleration, pedal position sensor, which is the sensor like the TPS that's on the accelerator pedal. So I switched that out with my wife's car. She has an HR also. It didn't fix it. I switched out cam and crank cam sensors, the 4 that are on each side. HRs have 4, 2 on each side. I switched those out with my wife's. Didn't fix it. I was going through hell trying to figure out what was wrong with this thing, and it just happened. And I just didn't see that the harness for the crank sensor was touching the header, and it melted it. I'm just happy it wasn't worse. It could have melted through the whole harness, and it didn't. So luckily I caught that pretty well. I eventually caught it. But yeah, so after that, patched it up, put the header back in, fired it up yesterday, and it was cool. I'll include some little sound clips of that at the end of this video. But yeah, so there it is. PPE headers, 370Z upper lower. Obviously 3-inch dual intakes, PCV deletes, 1090 white pipe to a single exit, and some corn. I got my tune date with specialty with Sebastian, July 8th. You know, yeah, it's summertime, so not the best conditions, but it's all good. But yeah, so as far as the headers go, like I mentioned, they're DE headers. I don't expect it to hurt the car at all, and it's not even the fitment wouldn't have been different with the HR. I would have still have to lift the engine up about an inch to get the passenger side in. You guys might notice on the little sound clips and the little drive clip that my steering wheel is going to be a little bit crooked. When you guys remove that, the steering column, just make sure you guys line that up. I guess I kind of didn't line it up that perfect, and it's a little bit crooked, but I'll fix that. Let me see, I'm trying to think what else I can tell you guys as far as making this job easy for you. Like I mentioned before, I've been really repetitive in this video, and I'm sorry. Just 3/8 ratchet, a long one, the flex head. It's gonna be like your MVP tool to get this stuff done, and some wrenches. I can't believe I didn't even know what the hell a wrench, or to call it a wrench. I know it was a wrench, but I was just so, you know, it's a big job that I even overlooked a harness touching the header. Yeah, so just make sure no harnesses are touching the headers, and yeah, when you guys extend the O2s and you guys crimp the sensor, just make sure that you guys pull on them a little bit after you crimp them. Make sure that they're not loose or come out. I had some of them that were loose, and luckily I caught them and fixed them before I reinstalled everything. But let me see, what else? I mean, but yeah, other than that, they're in there. You guys can tell I kind of scratched them up, but if you guys don't want your scratched up like mine are, lift the engine up on the driver's side. The passenger side, you don't really have to, but since you're gonna do it, might as well. But yeah, so just want to give you guys a little update. The car's fine, it's running good. I just ran into the harness issue, and yeah, so pretty soon we'll be going for a retune, July 8th. Stay tuned, guys. If you guys have any questions, I'm pretty sure I'm missing something that I wanted to tell you guys. But if you guys have any questions, just hit me up, guys, in the comment section. All right, peace.